The year is 1300 BC. A new day unfolds over the lush Nile Valley. The sun, revered as the supreme god Ra, pierces the golden mist hanging over the great river. In this era, the world seemed young, yet the civilization on these banks was already ancient. For the Egyptians, time was not a straight line, but a cycle, governed by the eternal movement of the stars and the predictable annual flooding of the Nile. The sacred waters of the T.S.A are the sole source of life amidst a vast ocean of sand. Every drop carried a precious gift: fertile silt. The Egyptians called their homeland Kemet, the Black Land, defiantly contrasting it with a hostile Deshret, the Red Desert. On the horizon of Giza, the pyramids stand not as weathered ruins, but as shining giants. Clad in polished white limestone, they reflect the sun with such intensity that they seem like a physical part of the sky itself. Their limestone peaks, capped in solid gold, catch the first rays of day while the valley remains in soft twilight. Morning begins with the quiet sounds of nature: splashing water, the cries of herons, and rustling palm leaves. Mud brick villages wake first, ingenious architecture born from the earth, designed to remain cool by day and warm by night. Women walk gracefully to the banks with clay jars. Men prepare papyrus boats, while children run barefoot through the yielding silt. There is no room for haste here. Life is governed by the ancient rhythm of nature, where every sunrise is a renewed promise of eternity. The life of an ordinary Egyptian is a symphony of labor. Fishermen maneuver through thickets, knowing every hidden current and eddy. The Nile feeds everyone, but it demands absolute respect. In the fields, farmers lead heavy wooden plows pulled by oxen, kicking up dust that turns to shimmering gold in the sun. It is exhausting work, yet it guarantees the kingdom's stability. Egypt in 1300 BC knew almost no mass famine, thanks to a brilliant irrigation system and the world's first 365-day calendar, which tracked the stars with pinpoint accuracy. In the magnificent city of Memphis, life takes on a faster, more vibrant tempo. The streets are filled with the scents of fresh bread, exotic spices, and stone heated by the desert sun. Artisan quarters buzz with constant work. Stonemasons, using only copper chisels and quartz sand, create lasting miracles. They carve colossal statues from granite and basalt, stones that even modern tools struggle to process today. Their precision remains staggering: perfectly straight lines and a divine gaze frozen in eternity. Nearby, in the cool shadow of grand columns, sit the scribes, the intellectual elite of the empire. They record everything, from grain tallies in the granaries to the precise movements of the planets. Their script, hieroglyphs, was revered as the language of the gods. The Egyptians firmly believed that if a person's name was written, they would live forever in the afterlife. In the marketplaces, trade is loud and vibrant. There are no coins. Gold and silver are valued strictly by weight. The primary currency is grain, beer, and fine linen. It is a world of honest exchange, where a person's reputation is worth more than any physical property. As the sun reaches its peak, Egypt's grandeur converges in the magnificent temples. These are the earthly residences of the gods, where heaven literally touches the earth. Gigantic columns support roofs painted with golden stars. In total darkness rest the sacred statues of the gods, cast from pure gold and silver. Priests, shaven and dressed in white linen, perform purification rituals with absolute precision. They wash the statues and offer the finest food, believing that without these sacred actions, the world would plunge back into chaos. Suddenly, the resonant sound of copper trumpets echoes. The pharaoh appears, a living god, the deputy of Ra on earth. His presence makes hearts beat faster. He is the essential bridge between worlds. His gate is full of divine dignity, accompanied by servants carrying ostrich feather fans and precious gifts from distant lands. In the workshops, master artists apply final touches to reliefs, telling of the king's victories. The deep blue of lapis lazuli and the vibrant green of malachite will not fade for 3 millennia. Egyptian religion was filled with eternal hope. Death was not an end, but a transition to the fields of Ialu, a paradise where the earth always yields a generous, effortless harvest. The sun begins its majestic descent into the underworld of Duat, painting the pyramids in crimson and violet. This is the golden hour when the boundary between worlds becomes at its thinnest. The workday draws to a close, and the valley fills with thin smoke from domestic ovens. Families reunite for a shared dinner, freshly baked bread, lentils, and nutritious beer, the very food that built an empire that knew no equal. Children listen to elders tell legends of how Isis saved Osiris, or how the wise Thoth taught humans the art of writing. These stories bind the past to the future in an unbroken chain. On the banks of the Nile, fishermen pull their boats onto the warm sand, and the city lights finally fade. Night in Egypt is a time of deep silence, broken only by a distant splash of water. In the sky, the stars ignite. The Egyptians looked at the Milky Way and saw a reflection of their own Nile, a heavenly river for the souls of the righteous to sail. While the country sleeps, priests continue their celestial observations from the temple rooftops. They believe that at this very minute, Ra is fighting the serpent Apep in the dark depths of the underworld. Every Egyptian knows. Tomorrow the sun will rise again, for order and harmony always triumph over chaos. As the last flicker of light dies out, the pyramids remain alone with eternity under the cold, silver moonlight. The year 1300 BC concludes its day. It was a world where man, nature, and the gods were one, united by the great river that flows through time.